What's up, guys? It is the Great Death Sentence here, and today we're going to be talking about why Arkham Origins is the best in the fucking series. While it's not Arkham Knight, it's not Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City had the best story, but I feel like Arkham Origins trumps all the others in terms of both gameplay and somewhat story, and we'll get to that in a second. So I believe Arkham Origins is the best in the entire series, and why Arkham Origins out of all the games deserves a fucking remaster. Now to prove why Arkham Origins is the best in the series, you have to compare it to all the other games. So I'm gonna rank all the other Arkham games and say Arkham Origins to last to highlight what Arkham Origins does best between all the other Arkham games. Coming at the dead last is Arkham Asylum. Now Arkham Asylum isn't a bad game at all. It has really good combat mechanics and it pretty much revolutionized gameplay of all time. Ever since Arkham Asylum came out, Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed, even a couple of the God of War hack and slasher games have taken this gameplay method to, new levels. Every game from this point on, with the exception of the hack and slashers, has attempted to at least copy elements of the game, such as getting a takedown after a certain number of strikes, the counter system, some elements of the stealth, like Batman Arkham. The Batman Arkham series just revolutionized combat gameplay for all time, really. But Arkham Asylum, compared to all the other games, just isn't as good. First off, you don't really get that many gadgets to begin with. You're damn near fighting all of these villains unarmed. You have a grappling hook and a batarang. That is pretty much it. And later your batarang can be, your grappling can be used to, incapacitate 3 more people, I guess. But you are extremely ill-equipped. You do have the explosive gel, which is, very effective in this game. But to be honest, and you don't have any skin you can wear, so this suit, if you're not really a fan of it, you're gonna have to play with this suit for the rest of the fucking game, and you don't really get any new suits after that. It's just overall, compared to the others, it just lacks. But isn't to say it's a bad game? Trust me, Arkham Asylum is not a bad game at all. It's just compared to all the others, it is just severely lacking. People say it has the best atmosphere. Some people feel it has the best story, but when it comes to gameplay, it sort of lacks. Again, it has literally nothing over the others, and it's just an extremely watered out version of those games. If it came out in this time, it would be one of the most pathetic games ever. But back in the day when it was basically nothing out but this, then yeah, it was definitely the best game for its time, but it has been long outdude. It's not my favorite, and not my favorite in the least. I like Arkham Knight better than this. I would probably play Arkham Asylum over that though, since Arkham Asylum is shorter compared to the rest. But like I said, it's not a bad game. It just lacks in gameplay, and you don't have too many weapons. You can't play as any skins, and that's pretty much it. It has boss fights though. At the very least, it does have some pretty cool boss fights, even though a lot of them are very easy and predictable. At least it has boss fights in very cool, memorable sections, which is what another game lacks, but we'll get to that later. So Arkham Asylum at dead last. So it would probably, not the best one. The second best one I would say is Batman Arkham City. There isn't enough that I can say about this game that hasn't been said already by many other game reviewers. It is one of the best video games ever, one of the best Batman games, period. It upgraded drastically. It has awesome stealth. It has a fuck ton of weaponry and gadgets. It has a decent amount of costumes. One thing that's ironic is that I feel like the PS3 video game in some areas is better than the PS4 game that later came out. The remastered version of this game is actually kind of fucking nice because for some reason they decided to brighten up the colors, making it look like a fucking Spider-Man game compared to the PS3, which is very, dark, and it had dark colors to make the costumes stand out more. Because of this, all the suits took a hit, and it has this gray, blackish frame to the suits. The only good suit to wear is the blue and gray one. I'm not even a big fan of the blue and gray, but in this suit it makes sense because it's the only suit that, the lightened style actually complemented. But that was a minor nitpick. The point is, this game is really good. The boss fights are amazing. Now, boss fights are challenging, but they're more so annoying. Now, this is just me, but some of the boss fights in this game, the funnest one to me was Clayface and Rush Shot Ghoul. They're challenging in their own ways, but I actually have fun with those. But the boss fights that are just straight up annoying is the Mr. Freeze boss fight. A lot of people love this boss fight, but honestly, I'm not really a huge fan of it because it's just fucking frustrating and stressful. You just have to figure out ways upon ways to hurt Mr. Freeze, and it's very annoying at times. It's just a very annoying boss fight to me personally, since I know he's supposed to adapt to your strategy, but maybe for the first time when you play it's cool and exciting because he's adapting to all your moves, but the second or third time you play Mr. Freeze, he's really only a character you can, and depending on your mentality, can have fun with the first time you fight him. I find replaying him extremely annoying, since I literally have to figure out, no matter what difficulty I'm on, I have to figure out 10 different ways to take this motherfucker out, and all of the ways are extremely intricate, complex, and not easy to do at all. Mr. Freeze, to me, isn't my favorite boss fight, and I would argue he's one of the worst boss fights because he's only really fun the first time, if you have fun at all, really. Since, again, maybe for the first time, fighting him can be cool. He's adapting to other techniques, have strategize, but then doing that pattern over and over and over again, it's just kind of tedious when you get to it. I really played Arkham City a lot, and this and another boss fight is something I really didn't look forward to, and that's Solomon Grundy boss fight. The way you hurt Grundy is just extremely annoying. It is extremely annoying to dodge his giant ball and chain. If he grabs you, it's fucking over. And the only way to hurt this idiot is to just use, the explosive jar to blow up the things that's powering him. And then you can go in on him. And that is extremely annoying, especially during the final section where you have to beat up these small fucking zombie maggots while dodging his lightning. These boss fights are fun. They're just fucking hard and you don't really get any satisfaction. The only satisfaction you get is when you beat them, but it's not even satisfaction. You're just fucking glad it's fucking over. I know this varies person by person, but to me, maybe the first time but I think somewhat people would agree with me if I told you that when you have to replay these sections, they're just annoying and stressful and just make you mad, and it's not really all that fun. But with that run aside, Arkham City had some of the best villains, the best plots. This was one of the first games back in the day to give us actual side quests, so there wasn't much to do after the main story, but it was still pretty cool. You get to fight Bane. Well, not fight Bane. I'm going to make another video entirely about how they wasted Bane in the Arkham franchise, but anyway, you get to at least interact with Bane. There's a Easter egg of Killer Croc, and the best side mission in the game to me is Deadshot. Deadshot is really cool. It's also pretty fun hunting down his ass. The Hush missions are really cool and mysterious, and it's really cool until you get to Arkham Knight when Batman fucking one-shots him. But Arkham City had a lot of cool shit in it. The side missions were good. The gameplay was fucking amazing. The combat was twice as better. Batman was faster, more nimble, more smooth. And to me, Batman Arkham City had the best sound effects because when you punch somebody or kick somebody, that sound effect it does is just so fucking satisfying. Like, that sound effect is just, I love it. And again, the suits in the PS3 are really good. The PS4 fucked all these suits up because, again, they lightened the game and made it look like a fucking Spider-Man game. So the only good suit in the game nowadays is probably the blue and gray skin. And all the other suits suck because they're not black and gray anymore. They're just kind of gray and white-ish. For some reason, the colors are extremely bright, which is not a thing which is not a good look for a Batman game. But anyway, I said what I had to say. This game is awesome. Two of the boss fights, at least to me, are just not fun. They're just stressful and repetitive as fuck, and more so annoying than fun. And also, the Harley Quinn mission, while, the Harley Quinn extra stuff wasn't for everybody, to me, I liked it. It was really cool seeing this version of Robin. This is one of the few times Robin is actually a fucking badass, and it's not even Dick Grayson or even Jason Todd. He's one of the more Robins with less aura. It's actually Tim fucking Drake, and they turned him into a fucking badass. And to me, his fighting style and gameplay is more satisfying to look at, and it's just pure eye candy to me. To me, he has the best combat in the fucking series. I don't know how it is gameplay wise, but It is just so satisfying to look at, and it's the most badass, at least to me. And oh yeah, this game for me is probably a 9 out of 10. Again, those two boss fights kind of hold it back, but it's pretty much one of the best games I've ever fucking played. And now finally, we get to what I think is the second worst in the series. Arkham Asylum to me is the worst, but now we're gonna talk about the coffin in the rug, Arkham fucking Knight. One of the fucking worst ones in the series, one of the worst games in fucking general. Now, this is kind of mixed nowadays. I'll say this about Arkham Knight. Let me state the positive before I get to the negatives. I'll say this about Batman Arkham Knight. The combat is kind of good. It is really good. I don't like the Street Fighter pixel effects that Batman does when he punches them. You know, it's supposed to, Batman game is supposed to be a mixture between, it's supposed to have like a Mortal Kombat type of feel where the hits are visceral. Back in the other games where Batman hit somebody or they begin to fighting, there was nothing that should have been just sort of giant pop and bang, bone cracking noise. You know, it was more brutal and visceral, where Arkham Knight just feels like fucking Street Fighter. You know, he does break bones occasionally where they, you know, chill out with the effects. But in this game, you're pretty much going to be punching people 24/7. And to me, the Street Fighter effects make the combat look less cool. But it's more of nitpicks. It's again, when you do the awesome takedowns, actually breaking bones, you don't see those effects as much. But to me, that made the combat look less cool to me, which is why, at least back in the other games, beating up niggas was more satisfying since it felt it was a more realistic kind of type of combat system where Batman is literally moving like the fucking Flash with fucking sparkles and fucking flash marks everywhere he moves. Anyway, but the combat is good though. I like the multi-fist takedown. A lot of people don't like, well, some people don't like the multi-fear takedown because they feel like it's less stealthy. But stealth is all about misdirection and sneaking up on the enemies. It's no different to me when other stealth games have to make a large noise to attract more enemies and then leave from that location. Plus, it's literally how Batman fights in the movies anyway. He takes out a bunch of thugs, usually loudly, and then vanishes before people even know he's there. To me, this is cool, and if I'm being honest with you, this is probably the coolest mechanic I've seen in Batman in a while. I wouldn't mind if they brought this mechanic back in the future Batman game. I'm personally a really big fan of the multi-fear takedown. I feel like it's cool, and to me, when I play Batman Arkham, I make loud noises anyway. I feel like it's more beneficial since it gets the guards moving. If you go on all stealthy and just try to take them all silently, you'll find that they'll bunch up more often than not since they don't really have a reason to move anywhere. But if you start banging people's skulls in, they have no choice but to, investigate noises, and then they all begin to spread themselves out more. So using noise is actually a strategic move when doing stealth operations, since that can be misdirection and shit. So people complaining about that can go eat a dick, basically. But yeah, the stealth takedowns is really good. I like the fear multi-fear takedown. Again, all the Batman stuff you do is cool. The gadgets are really fucking awesome. I like all of them. This is the most OP Batman has ever been. This is one of the few games not just going in there unarmed. I actually feel like an armed fucking lethal assassin. I like the gadgets a lot. The gadgets are cool. I like the disruptor. I like the explosive gel where it's kind of like a gun you shoot to explode people. Again, the gadgets are really fucking awesome. The stealth is improved. I like the hacking simulations. I like all of that shit. The Killer Croc boss fight wasn't too complex, but it's the only good fight in the game. And fighting the boxer was pretty fun. Those are the only two real boss fights in the game. And even though Arkham Knight was a huge fucking disappointment, we'll talk about that later, don't you worry. But even though Arkham Knight was a huge fucking disappointment, at the very least, he had somewhat of a boss fight, since it's basically a predator map, and at least Batman didn't fucking one-shot him like he did all his other ops in here. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are pretty much all my positives. Now let's get to the fucking negatives. So first, I cannot fucking stand the fucking Batmobile. The Batmobile killed this game. It did. A lot of people don't talk about it. Now again, a lot of people have mixed feelings about Arkham Knight. Some people feel it's the best from a gameplay standpoint, at least They know for a fact the boss fights like, but at the very least, they like it for the gameplay. Some people think Arkham Knight's best in the series. That's fair, you can like what you like. But it is almost unanimously agreed upon that the Batmobile is fucking hated. Even the most arrogant Arkham Knight dick suckers who overhype the game, even they admit it is a huge flaw of the game. To me, the Batmobile fucking killed Arkham Knight. It is one of the worst gaming mechanics in fucking video game history. I mean the worst. You cannot get more terrible than the fucking Batmobile. First off, this is a Batman game. When I put on Batman or watch Batman or do any type of Batman media, I want to see a man in a Batman suit kicking ass and taking names, occasional stealth, awesome gadgets, whatever the fuck. I want to see that, and when I play a game, I want to play that. I do not want to sit in a fucking metal car doing metal car shit. I did not come to play Call of Duty. I didn't come to play World of Tanks. I came to play Batman. So not only did they put this piece of shit mechanic in the game, but these motherfuckers have the nerve to make it the main fucking mechanic. For anyone that has played Batman, a nickname for Arkham Knight, people call it Batman World of Tanks. And that is an accurate as fucking assumption if you played the game. Every single mission forces you to bring back this stupid mechanic in the game. The Riddler missions, Batmobile. Some of the main quests, Batmobile. Like, it's just fucking stupid. Even the stealth sequences, the Batmobile. They have you sneaking around a fucking giant missile launching car, shooting other missile launching car vehicles. You know, Godzilla, I don't know his name, but one of the YouTubers, Godzilla OTX, or what the fuck his name is, pointed this out. They literally have you doing everything, like traversing rooftops, Batmobile. I'm surprised they didn't have you fucking glide around the fucking end of Batmobile. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they did that. Again, the Batmobile is one of the stupidest additions to the game, and is one of the worst additions I've ever fucking seen. I can't stand the Batmobile. I fucking hate the Batmobile. And for me, this killed Arkham Knight. And one of the main reasons the Batmobiles suck is because I'll talk about it right now. The gameplay with the Batmobile is ass. The puzzles that you do with Batman Arkham are ass. I can't stand the puzzles. I literally had one more puzzle to do when I fought the Riddler, and the race was so difficult and so time consuming and so stupid. I spent 3 days trying to get past it. I couldn't fucking do it. Hey, maybe I suck at the game, but I was not about to spend another time on that fucking game anymore. That made me quit the game. I was done. I was done. I couldn't stand Riddler. I hated it. I felt like he won. It was all the other shit. And to me, I just kind of feel bad leaving Catwoman to basically die. Every time we play Arkham Knight, I do all the other shit. I tried to give it one more shot. The Batmobile shows is getting on my fucking nerves. I couldn't do it no more. I got off the game yet again. I cannot finish Batman Arkham Knight. I couldn't even get past the main sources again. I do kind of just feel bad leaving Catwoman to die, basically, because I can't get past a fucking race car track. But I don't want to hop on this plenty more. We all know how trash the Batmobile is, and even the Batman Arkham Knight dick suckers can't defend it, or even won't defend it. They even agree this is one of the weakest parts of the game. Another reason why Batman Arkham Knight is ass is because of the lack of fucking boss fights. And why the story kind of sucks ass as well, but we'll talk about the story later. So we're going to be talking about the boss fights, and there are 0 boss fights. Now, I'm not going to lie. The boss fights in the Arkham series haven't been the best. I'm not even going to fucking lie to you. A lot of them in the first game evolved to you hitting the characters, you jumping out of the way, they hit something, then you go roll on. That's pretty much almost all of them, if I'm being honest with you. We'll get to Arkham Origins, don't worry. Arkham Origins does change this formula and create some of the best boss fights in the series. We'll talk about Arkham Origins later. But yeah, the boss fights haven't exactly been the best. Again, I mentioned earlier in the video, but 2 of them were just honestly just fucking frustrating. And the Rachel Gold boss fight was fun, and the Killer Croc boss fight is fun. It evolves into you basically beating the fuck out of the enemy. A sequence with, you know, you would engage in a sequence where you have to counter their moves and beat their ass again, and then you just destroy them. And it's extremely entertaining to watch. Maybe people would say that it's not too complex from a gameplay standpoint, but sometimes simple is just more fun. I don't mind this simple formula, and there are a couple of moves you can't counter, and I have to just kind of dodge out of the way. the Batman Arkham Bane boss fight. Oh, you know what? I'll get to it later. I do want to talk about how Arkham has improved the boss fights, but we'll save the Arkham Origins thing for later. Anyway, back to the Arkham Knight. There basically is no Arkham boss fights for the Arkham Knight. This is extremely underwhelming since it pretty much feels like this is supposed to be Batman's final mission, and there's, everything goes up in flames and the villains are the strongest they're gonna be. But Batman pretty much one-shots all of them, including fucking Deathstroke. I do not care. You cannot justify this. Deathstroke, no matter what media he's in, should never be able. First of all, having Batman beat Deathstroke is always a stretch. Batman can beat Deathstroke, but it should always be a very, very difficult fight. Even though Batman kind of breezed through Deathstroke in Arkham Origins, I'm not even gonna fucking lie to you. At least it was a cool ass fight. Again, Batman inverse took out Deathstroke very kind of fucking, it was mid difficulty at best, but they gave us an entertaining ass fight, and that fight is iconic with how cool it is, with how awesome it is. It's not too difficult, but it's just so fucking cool to watch, and it's one of the greatest boss fights of all time from an entertaining standpoint, and it's so fucking cool. So that made up for his lackluster, appearance in the story. But in Arkham Origins, you literally fucking one-tap him. I remember watching this gamer YouTuber being so excited to fight Deathstroke because he felt he was finally going to fight hand-to-hand after being stuck in a tank for so long. Now, not only was this guy so disappointed, but when he found out that he literally did the most to finally get this boss fight to happen, and he finally fought Deathstroke, and then he fucking one-shotted him. That nigga threw the controller at the wall and left the fucking game. I remember seeing that video, and for good reason. Deathstroke, out of all the Batman villains, can give Batman trouble. Deathstroke is low-key one of the most underrated villains, overrated at the same to underrated villains in the game. When you put Deathstroke in the story, in the Batman story, he should at the very least come close to beating Batman. Batman should either beat Deathstroke high difficulty, which is damn near death, and it shouldn't be any lower than that. It could be mid difficulty depending on the stories, but it should never be zero fucking difficulty. This was a damn near sin, and I can't do it. I can't believe, I don't know what dickhead did this, but they put Deathstroke in the game. They could have just saved him for DLC, but some dickheads just decided to shoehorn Deathstroke in there. There were plenty of other characters that could have surely took up Arkham Knight's role. The Batman could have one-shot, but instead they decided to choose Deathstroke, so they hold Deathstroke and destroyed him. I can't hop on this point anymore. This video is already long enough as it is, but I can't hop on this point any more than I already did. This is fucking retarded and fucking stupid. But anyway, yeah, the boss fights are non-existent. They basically don't exist. There are no boss fights in the game. So you pretty much talk about all the problems Arkham Knight has. The final point to go over is the fucking story mode. Now, Jason Todd being Arkham Knight is one of the dumbest plot twists ever. Everybody on the face of the planet saw this, even the person who've never read a comic book in their life and is not a character from Wikipedia glances could stare at this and know exactly who it is. Yes, it is obviously Jason Todd. Now, plenty of people have made videos of why this doesn't work. I personally don't too much care about who the Arkham Knight could have been. I just wanted a fuck ton of more boss fights. Me personally, I feel like we didn't really need to make a new villain, especially when it wasn't even new. It was just Jason Todd coming back and being always a mysterious Gotham character. He was Red X, he was Arkham Knight, and now he's whatever the fuck they want him to be. Anytime they create a secret character, it is always Jason Todd, or theorized to be him. But I don't too much care about it. I just basically want an awesome boss fight with it. Yeah, maybe him being shoehorned into this kind of fucks up the story mode. But to be honest, since this is the last game anyway, I think they should just prioritize just making it as fun as possible and giving us a fuck ton of awesome for the fuck of it, awesome boss fights in the game. In my opinion, I think it could have been maybe Talia al Ghul. Talia al Ghul has, I could make a video on it, or another video, but I'll talk about why Talia al Ghul should have been the Arkham Knight, for a variety of reasons. In my opinion, I feel like Talia al Ghul should have been the Arkham Knight, since if you think about it, Batman kind of fucked her over, to be honest with you. Like, basically, she dies for Batman, and then Batman immediately goes after Catwoman. Like, not even like a 6 months later, he's pretty much getting Catwoman already. Not even a full year, and Talia fucking died for Batman. You know what I mean? I feel like he kind of hold her, to be honest. I mean, he went to her, got her help, and then as soon as he got, he just fucking left and betrayed her. Yeah, she's an assassin, and Batman doesn't want to kill because he's a fucking pussy. But she decides to, go against everything she stands for. Helps him fight against the Joker. She dies in his arms, and then not even 6 months later, he's automatically with a new woman. And if you go by the Joker talks, it sounds like Batman always loved Catwoman, and Talia was his friend at best. So basically, he friend-zoned the fuck out of her. He kind of used her, to be honest. And then, because he didn't kill the Joker, she died. And it can all be traced and kind of blamed on him. So I feel like Talia al Ghul has ample reason to basically become the Arkham Knight. I feel like for story-wise, it would have been cool if we got a first female main villain, too. Or a secondary main villain, anyway. That was an actual woman. It would be a good plot twist, and it would make sense story-wise. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the story of Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight sucks because of who he was. His story could have been better, and his boss fight could have been better, but at least he had a boss fight, unlike fucking Deathstroke. So I'm not too mad at that. The main thing for me is that the only gripe with the story is that I don't think Scarecrow should have been the main villain. I feel like it maybe should have been Bane. All of his villains from the past coming back to destroy him. Scarecrow is just too fucking lame to be a villain. I personally prefer Bane, or the Joker came back somehow. The Joker shit can go, to be honest with you. They can just bring back Joker, or Joker doesn't need to show up at all for fucking once. It would have been cool if this was Bane instead, and Bane just wanted revenge for Batman breaking them. Or maybe Talia al Ghul as well. Shit, maybe it can even be, Anarchy. You could have called it Batman Arkham Anarchy, where Anarchy is one of the main villains. Basically one of them, and Anarchy is a trained badass. Could have been anybody else. I'll probably make another video on how the Arkham Knight story should have been, but I don't really have too many problems with it. I like the concept, like a bunch of, military armed soldiers. They're assembling an army of some of the best guys on the planet to take out Batman. The concept is cool, and it's honestly executed. That aspect is executed very well. The militia are extremely entertaining goons we've gone up against so far. I like their designs; it's really fucking cool. And I like the concept. They're a bunch of military guys, and it's an army of them coming to take on Batman. It's really fucking cool. But to be honest, I actually do like the story. I just wish the villains make the villains stronger, and I at the very least, I'm pretty much happy. But yeah, we pretty much went over why all of the Arkham games of their faults and strengths. Now we're finally going to talk about Batman Arkham Origins. So let's finally talk about it. So the reason why Batman Arkham Origins is the best in the entire fucking series is one. The story is good, at least for me. Now, a lot of people make fun. We're gonna go over elements. So first, we're gonna go over story before we get to the gameplay, since that's the main thing. So let's get story out of the way. Me personally, I think the most unique thing about Batman Arkham Origins story is that it's the first story that actually has a fucking good ending for Batman. With the exception of the Asylum, all the other Batman Arkham games kind of lift on, kind of downers. Batman leaves with Joker dying, and Batman just leaving completely disturbed by the entire situation. We get a DLC and Batman, you can tell something's just wrong with Batman, or Batman is just not fucking feeling it. Arkham Knight ends with Batman fucking dead or faking his death. Well, he pretty much Jason's the Justice League game is canon to this, so I guess Batman faked his death and became Scarecrow Batman. But yeah, at the time we thought Batman was fucking dead or living a very depressed life where it's pretty much only thing he could do for the rest of it was pretty much to be Batman, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, all the Arkham games kind of end on downers, to be honest. Arkham Origins game is the only fucking game where there's actually fucking hope, actually sunlight, actually light in the game. It takes place where Batman is very young, and the concept is fucking cool. It has a cool concept similar to Arkham Knight. In my opinion, I feel like Arkham Knight and Arkham Origins have the best concepts for a story. An army of goons coming to take out Batman, and 8 assassins coming after the Batman's head. The story is fucking cool, and action-packed as fuck. A lot of people have a problem with Joker being the main villain, but honestly, I kind of like this plot twist. Well, not really plot twist, but I kind of like this. It shows Batman and Joker first meeting. It explains Joker's obsession with Batman and his universe, and seeing them fight when they're both young and inexperienced is honestly pretty fucking cool. To see Joker fucking with Batman's head like this is fucking awesome. Their fight is awesome. The dialogue is awesome. Like, this is honestly one of the most entertaining Batman Joker fights in the series, honestly. It's really fucking cool. And since I'm a huge fan of the Joker, and he's one of my favorite Batman villains, I don't mind this. Since I'm a huge Joker fan, and I kind of don't mind this. The only, you know what I mean? It's better than how Joker was hunting Arkham Knight. So fuck it, who cares? Me personally, I really fuck with this. A lot of people want to Black Mask to be the main villain, but that should probably be able to fight anyway. He's a mob boss character, but it would be cool if he was, I don't know, like an assassin type character. Since I think Black Mask has potential to have a lot of aura, but I feel like him being a mob boss doesn't really fit him. He should be like an assassin character like Deathstroke. I mean, Black Mask, come on. That and his design, it's hella aura. If they made him a combat action star instead, to set him apart from the other mob bosses, then I feel like he would do a lot better. Anyway, so yeah, that was a lot of things that people had a problem with. For me personally, I don't have a problem with it at all, especially because Bane, the fucking GOAT, replaces us as he's basically the Arkham Knight of Arkham Origins, where he's a main villain, except he's actually a good villain, can actually fight Batman, beat him, kind of, in the story, and fuck with Batman's head as well. It's not just Joker fuck with Batman, it's Bane as well. Bane is really the main villain of this story, to be honest with you. Joker kind of just should after Bane is defeated, but it's really Bane that's really his main enemy. And this is my favorite version. This is the best Bane's been done in a while. He's smart, articulate, and strong as hell. They did a good job with his venom obsession, and all that other shit is fucking awesome. But yeah, me personally, I really love the story. I love the concept. I love the villains. I just love it. And if I had to rank it, I would say this is probably the second best one, to be honest. It's really good. It has a really good feeling, and unlike the other stories, it has a good feel ending. After the game ends with Batman flying over the city, and Commissioner Gordon realizes that as dark and as trash as the city is, Batman is the only speck of light in the game. In the city. So, yeah, it's pretty good. So, it's fun to talk about the gameplay. So, first, Arkham Origins is basically the same as all the others, except one thing. The boss fights are fucking amazing. Deathstroke is probably the funnest one, to be honest with you. Now, his boss fight isn't that complex. You counter, a sequence would happen, you engage in that. There are a couple moves, but because you can counter everything literally slows down so you can counter it. Like I said, isn't that complex and very simple, but it's just the sequences are just so fucking cool to watch. Like, you can never get tired of this. I don't give a fuck how simple this is. Again, sometimes, guys, simple is just straight up better. The mechanics are extremely simple, but it's just so cool watching Batman do all this shit. Next, we got Bane, probably the second best boss fight. His boss fight is cool. Unlike Deathstroke, Bane is actually stronger than you. He has a couple of moves that give you serious damage, and this boss fight requires a little bit of skill, so you have to avoid his giant heavy blows. Firefly is a very fun boss fight as well. It's an area boss fight. You have to dodge a fight. There's no counter system at all. You just have to manually dodge all this shit using your technology to fight against Batwing. It's one of the most unique boss fights because you actually have to use your tools to actually fight this motherfucker. All the other boss fights are more or less just the same as Deathstroke, give kind of like worse versions of them, such as Copperhead, Shiva, and all the other shits. But yeah, and the gadgets are fun as fuck. One of the most unique gadgets is the grappling hook gadget. I don't know what the fuck this thing is called, but it's one of Deathstroke's gadget. You get it after taking him out and grabbing it after the game, where it's a gadget where you can use it to take out enemies from a distance, and it's kind of like the first long-range gun in the series, since it takes out enemies permanently. You can use it, and it loads its enemies using grapple hooks and just takes them out. But yeah, when it comes to gadgets, Batman Arkham Origins has some of the best gadgets in the game. It has a fuck ton of variety of suits. This is literally Batman Arkham Knight, but just fucking better. It has a fuck ton of suits, a fuck ton of variety. It's just better overall. So the suits are better, the gameplay is better, everything is just fucking better. And the suits are fucking amazing. So yeah, this is pretty much Batman Arkham Knight 2.0. This is what Batman Arkham Knight should have been. Cool boss fights. A cool, simple story. That's nothing that I like about Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight just should have went for a simple story. Batman didn't even have to fucking die at the end. Just amp up all the villains, and since this is the last fucking game, increase all the boss fights and make it cool. Even if it's simple, just make it fucking epic and eye pleasing. I promise you, people would have fucking loved it. Playing as the Batmobile was hype when it first happened. Maybe just save the Batmobile for the side mission shit and then just leave the rest of the game to the hands. That's the only way you can use it. But to make the main mechanic just kind of killed the game. But we already talked about that. But yeah, Arkham Origins is, to me, the second, well, actually, no, the best in the series, period. In terms of gameplay, it is the best, objectively. It has the best boss fights. Probably, it has a lot of good skins. And the story, at least to me, is really fucking awesome. It's simple and actually has light in it. It's one of the coolest games ever. And I think out of all the games, this game definitely deserves a fucking remaster. It needs to be remastered. Let's campaign for it. Batman Arkham Origins needs to be remastered pronto. It has the best everything. And it has one of the best DLC stories too, since Mr. Freeze comes back, and we have one of the coolest things ever. Even to me, it has the best DLC story, since it's decently long, really cool, and the boss fight it's also one of the few games where the actual fucking boss fight is actually really good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, Batman Arkham Origins is the best. It's Arkham that should have been just a boss-filled fight, chaotic fucking fun. As that Arkham Knight should have been, it was supposed to be the last in the series, but instead we got Batman World of Tanks. But yeah, this is why Batman Arkham Origins is, to me, the best in the fucking series. Arkham City has the best story. Batman Arkham Origins has the best boss fights and gameplay. Arkham Knight probably has the better gadgets, and taking out the goons is probably slightly more fun depending on who you are. But to me, Arkham Origins beats Arkham Knight in everything fucking else, and should get a fucking remaster. Batman Arkham Origins got a remaster in this generation. I promise you, people are playing that game and only that game. It's really the best Batman game they ever fucking made. It's awesome, underrated, and fucking cool as hell. If they remade, I would be playing Batman Arkham Origins right now, but because of the state it's in, because it hasn't left its PS3 era, you can't really have access to the skins or the DLC shit or anything. You pretty much have to play the game, in its base state, and you can't do anything beyond. You can't get the Freeze boss for DLC anymore. So, to me, they should have remastered this game. They have the nerve to make a Batman Arkham Shadow game that takes place in the same timeline, but won't remaster Arkham Origins. So, yeah, Arkham Origins needs a desperate remaster because it is the best in the series. But that's all I wanted to say. That's all I really wanted to say. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and Death Sentence out.